elevating the Constitution and a short North curfew. Welcome to Columbus on the Record. We now know what voters will see when they cast their ballots in August's special election. Voters will decide whether to make it harder to change the Constitution by requiring a 60% majority and imposing tougher signature gathering requirements. But rather than the word harder, authors of the ballot language prefer the word elevate. The title of the ballot question asks voters if they want to elevate the standard as to pass an amendment. Whether to elevate the process or just make it more difficult, the move aims to thwart November's possible vote of an amendment to guarantee abortion rights. Ann Fisher, Democrats and supporters of or opponents of this measure do not like the wording.
No, they don't. Yeah, elevate, it sounds like something you'd write in a restaurant review, not on a ballot issue. And they said they want to make it simpler. And so I counted like simple means like maybe fewer syllables. Elevate is 3, raise is 1, that kind of a thing. They don't like that, but they also don't like other aspects of it that they think are patently illegal. So the elevate thing is a nuanced thing that you'll have to decide, someone's going to have to decide if they take it to court, whether it's what an average voter would think of. Would they think of it as somehow making it better, or is it actually increasing a requirement? That's what's going to go on. But there's other issues about whether or not whether the 5% of the eligible voters of each county are represented in the signature collection, and it's actually not eligible voters. It shouldn't be, or it usually isn't.
Julie Franklin Rose points out the definition of elevate is to raise, and that's what they're doing. They're raising the threshold and raising the requirements. But are voters really going to, the people who vote in this election, are they really going to not know what they're voting on when they walk in? This is an August special election on a very special issue. These are motivated folks going into that booth.
I think you're absolutely right, because August special elections are run under most people's radars and turnout is usually abysmally low. It will be those who the advocates on both sides bring out through advertising, through huge get out the vote efforts and other things. So I think that those campaigns will be dueling descriptions, as well as Democrats who voted against the measure will get to write an argument against it that voters will see, and the Republicans will get to write one for.
How many people actually read all this stuff in the ballot box?
Not many. I mean, it's the wording that goes on the ballot. I would guess maybe less than 5% of the voters actually read it. And that's probably a good thing, because if everybody read it, it would take forever for us to vote, because, those are long.
And we've seen elections where the lines are long and they blame the length of the number of ballot questions.
Yeah. And no, I think what Julie says is right. I mean, everybody that's voting in this August is going to be either one side or the other, and they're going to know what the issue is. So the wording on the ballot really isn't going to make a difference.
We're skipping over, I think, an important element of this whole thing, and that's the basis of the lawsuit that was filed by the Supreme Court.
This may not happen. Yeah.
It may not happen. Dean Steinglass from Cleveland Marshall Law School, the Dean Emeritus, suggested that the problem is not that the Constitution doesn't provide for you putting a new constitutional amendment through joint resolution. As a matter of fact, the Constitution demands that it be done that way. However, a law was passed, when was it, a year ago, saying that the August election could only be held in cases of fiscal emergency. So the issue is not whether the initial procedure was bad, but whether the election itself can be held in August.
Any word on when this case will be settled? It goes right to the Supreme Court, the House Supreme Court.
Right. It's. I think they would expedite it for the ease of. We had another brief on it yesterday, and so I think that they're going to try to get it decided sooner rather than later. But it also may be that they wait and confuse things more.
The important thing is they know it's issue 1, so they can start putting together their ads one way or the other. And if the elevated reference remains, they could probably have fun with that if they played their cards right.
It gets to how the track record of these votes, Bob. In the past year, Arkansas and South Dakota both shot down 60% voter threshold proposals. They weren't close. It was like basically 60-40. Arizona passed it, but it was razor thin and only applied to taxes.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be an interesting election. I've been in, and I've mentioned this before on the show. I've been in favor of a 60%, but my basis was from what the casino guys did in 2011, what the marijuana guys did in 2015, where basically you get these special interest groups coming in and pretty much dictating to the state of Ohio how they're going to do business because they insert it in the Constitution. I've thought back then, we got to do something about that. Now, unfortunately, they're dealing with it while we're in the midst of an abortion debate. So it's all about abortion. Yeah. But, I mean, the problem we're going to get into with this is that we're going to start legislating by constitutional amendment. Because what's going to happen is, if this goes down and the abortion amendment passes in November, my guess is we're going to have another abortion amendment with parental notification or consent in it, maybe a 15-week limit, which is popular. And the legislature gets to put it on with no problem.
Yeah. Well, let's get to that. As the 60% campaign plays out, the campaign to pass a November abortion amendment continues. Supporters of abortion rights are about halfway through the time period they have to collect some 413,000 valid voter signatures. Volunteer and paid signature gatherers are popping up at fairs and festivals, busy street corners. They have until July 5th to collect the signatures to qualify for that November ballot. Julie Carr-Smythe, any idea where they stand on their effort, how they're doing, the abortion rights supporters?
I'm told by their own measure that they are on track, and their goal is to get nearly double what they need so that they don't have to waste time with our cure period that allows them 10 additional days to get valid signatures. Of course, they have a wrench that could a couple wrenches that could happen, one of which is that there is a lawsuit before the Supreme Court that says, should the ballot board have split this into two issues? That has been fully briefed since April 7th. We're still waiting to hear, and until the minute they decide that, should they go against the group, the abortion rights folks, they would have to start over and they would have to gather twice as many.
Well, it's hard to leave the house and not be approached
really? Okay.
by one or the other. Now, one thing that I learned is that the paid solicitors for this, many of them come from out of state. I didn't know that was the process for doing this, but the numbers are really unbelievable as to how many people are. One thing I haven't asked them is how many people decline to sign, but I guess statistically it's going to be some number of people that would not.
When I was headed to the Crew game last week and was surprised. They were at every block all the way up as all the crowd was hauling toward the stadium, and around several of them I saw people gathered waiting to sign. And others were not. Others were just standing there and walking up to people individually. So, that's very anecdotal at this point. But there's no question they have carpeted the state. And a lot of them, too, unlike a lot of these outside interest type of campaigns, a lot of them are volunteers. They're not, and they're going to every event they go to. They're just bringing their little clipboard with them.
They're certainly targeting more urban areas, suburban areas, not necessarily rural areas. You're not seeing these in Washington Courthouse.
I saw a couple in downtown Powell, which is actually a good area for them because Powell has become much more liberal, Democrat over the years. I expect them to get on the ballot. I don't think they're going to have any problem getting on the ballot.
We're not seeing and that was very rare when we saw that a couple of years ago, the heavy-handed tactics that we saw during the nuclear bailout repeal effort, the petition blockers and the cash payments to
I don't think
gatherers.
anybody's getting bribed in this one, so maybe that's the difference.
Progress, I suppose. If they don't make the July 5th deadline, they still could come back in 24, right?
Sure, absolutely. Or if one of these suits doesn't go their way, same thing. Then they could steal, and they would be in good company then because there are a number of abortion issues coming up in 24. This year, if we would go for it, Ohio would be definitely on the national radar as the largest ballot issue in the country.
There was actually a disagreement within the pro-abortion people about when to go on this. You had one segment that wanted to do it this year, and there was another segment that wanted to wait until next year, and which I understood because your electorate is so much bigger, and it's probably going to be the presidential vote just gets out both sides, but the Democrats especially will vote in that presidential year.
Money in this campaign will be there. Where will it go, Bob? Do you think it'll go to grassroots or TV?
TV.
You think it'll go to TVs?
Yep, TV.
Is that the most effective way to get your folks out to the polls if you're in a low turnout election?
It's that's the perennial question. Having run for office a couple of times, I will tell you, in this day and age, you don't really know how is it that people are learning about issues and so on. Is it TikTok? I mean, it's a game, and Bob, you're in this business, so I mean,
you gotta be on Snapchat,
and they're going to yell at you if you're not
you're
not effective. But can I make a comment about it? Because Bob is 100% correct with respect to the gambling and the marijuana outside interesting. However, both of those issues are consistent with the direction of society, not only in Ohio but everywhere else. So it wasn't a weird thing.
I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, for one thing, the marijuana people in that race or in that campaign,
And I was on their side.
and they failed.
Yes, they failed.
All right, they failed.
failed.
So the wisdom of the voters prevailed, right?
But I don't know
And
how
then-
wise they were with casinos.
But the thing is with casinos is they had gone to the ballot multiple times over
Yeah.
casinos, and the legislature would not take action on its own, and that is why in 1912 they gave voters this right in the first place, because the legislature was so corrupted by special interests, by the robber barons and so forth, they had to give some rights back to the voters, to the people, to let them do what they want to do and not what special interests that control the legislature want to do.
The problem with that is we let the casino owners dictate how they were going to operate, what actual locations were.
But
they
the
put those in the
legislature could have done it itself.
Yeah, well, I know.
And they wait until the voters are desperate. They wanted it. The state was surrounded by it.
And we also should point out that we have already fixed the monopoly issue in our Constitution separately
That's
from this.
amazing.
And this comes up a lot about the casino issue, but the monopolies are already illegalized in the voters made that possible.
And by the way, an out-of-state special interest is funding the campaign. So,
All right, this week, Ohio State's Board of Trustees issued a rare public statement saying they oppose a controversial bill at the State House. Well, if that bill passes, OSU would break the law if it takes a stand on controversial topics. It's known as Senate Bill 83. It would ban most diversity training requirements at state colleges. It would ban faculty from striking. It requires professors to allow students and speakers to express intellectual diversity. It also limits partnerships with some Chinese organizations. The bill moves to the House, and if it approves, it would go to Governor DeWine. Joe Mas, the goal here for conservatives is to increase intellectual diversity on campus. Will it do it?
Well, no, I don't think it will do it. But my concern with this entire direction that, first of all, you've got governmental interference in saying what professors were to say and what positions that universities are supposed to take. I do not think that they will be successful in accomplishing what they think that they're going to accomplish. But I'm also concerned because universities historically have given both sides conservative. And look, another problem is that what is conservative anymore? Are we talking about climate change? Climate change, that's a scientific question. So it's where is it going to go?
How do you define intellectual diversity, Bob?
Well, I think it means that you let all viewpoints be known in a classroom setting. I think universities have brought this on themselves. I think, to use a liberal term, Joe, by the way, I love your not liking government interference right now. That's great. But I'll use a liberal term in that conservatives are marginalized in university settings. We've seen many instances where, like, young Republican or college Republican groups are trying to bring in speakers that universities have shut down, and they usually give the excuse, we're doing it for safety reasons. So the universities have brought this on themselves. This is their problem.
I would say, though, that it's clear, they could have written the law in such a way, for example, in every university's diversity, equity, and inclusion policy, you must explicitly say conservative, liberal, and make sure those are represented. I mean, there was a way to do this that was not as confrontational and far-reaching as this.
It seems that when you think about liberal colleges, I don't think of Ohio State. I think of Oberlin, Antioch. When I think of conservative universities, I think of Liberty. I think of Cedarville. Is it more on the private schools where the true sort of bias or lack of intellectual diversity occurs?
Even within an institution like Ohio State, you have different departments. I mean, the business school isn't some bastion of liberalism at Ohio State. I can guarantee you of that. My backdoor neighbor girl went to Ohio State, student scholar. That's far from some kind of bastion of liberalism over there. Same thing. You can go to all different kinds of schools for all different kinds of swings on things. You can go to Hillsdale College if you want to, be, immersed in conservatism. But even I want to say, even at a place like Ohio State, you're going to find a lot of variations on a theme at a school this size.
And if there was some way, and we can't, but if there's some way we could tell how every professor at Ohio State voted in the 2020 election, what do you think we would find?
I don't know. The point is, we can't tell. Who's going to be the judge? Who's going to be the arbiter of all these nuances?
We have students who are not happy because of the way their professors are teaching.
Well, actually, there was a study that the Dispatch wrote about that said that it was more the students' fear of being shunned by their classmates or their friends for expressing an unpopular political view than the fear of professors.
Look, the issue always has been that universities, I think, have done generally a good job in providing for both sides of any question. But that's done at the macro level. You're teaching in the classroom, you have lecturers come in, you have special guests coming in, but the General Assembly is trying to do this at the micro level, each individual professor. And by the way, Bob, you're absolutely right. I mean, I'm complaining about government interference in higher education only. The rest of the time, I'm a
Gotcha. Speaking of government interference, lawmakers in Ohio, or influence, in Ohio and around the country are looking to change curriculums for kids in grade school and high school. A bill before the House would create new social studies standards based on American birthright civics standards. The curriculum emphasizes love, liberty, and law, and how Americans owe their prosperity to ancestors who secured their freedom. It de-emphasizes the history of slavery and the removal of Native American populations. Supporters of the curriculum say teachers have focused too much on the nation's mistakes, and that has fostered a lot of resentment. Bob Clegg, same issue, different grade level.
Yeah.
Why not just leave history to the history folks?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because there was a professor at Ohio State that was talking about what we just discussed, that bill, Senate Bill 83. And he says, the problem we have here is we have to educate more about the First Amendment so that when kids hit college, or young people, they understand that it's not right to shut somebody down because they disagree with you. Well, how do we teach that? We got to teach that at that level. And those are the kinds of things we got to worry about. And they're not being done now. That's why we have so many college-age students who say they think they have a right to shut down somebody because they don't agree with them.
Well, I was just on a panel on civility and politics last week, hosted by the Bar Association, and this came up. Civility, really starts at the top, and little kids are watching our leaders not be civil and not. Even polls are now showing people don't want their politicians to compromise. They don't think that that's what government is about anymore. So we're at this sort of pivot point nationally in terms of how do we get past this? How do we come back to an agreed upon set of facts that we can all live with, that makes us all proud to be Americans?
Joe, for decades, history often downplayed the negative aspects, the bad aspects of American history. Particularly, it was told from a white perspective. But in the recent years, since the George Floyd murder, it's gone the other way. But also, critics say they've gone too far. Like, for instance, the 1619 Project had some errors in it. They were corrected, but they were errors. Has it swung too far the other way in is there a middle ground left to be found?
There is absolutely middle ground, but I think the middle ground lies in exposing the errors on both sides, on the glorification of manifest destiny, for example, and the downplaying of the evils of human beings owning other human beings. So I think that the middle ground lies in exposure to the true history, every single element of it, messy and not messy.
So we learn about the construction of our interstate highway system. We learn about that, and you can have one side saying this was progress and here's why, and you can have another side, which is not what I learned growing up, saying, but by the way, it displaced hundreds of thousands of not only people, but communities, ripped them apart as they built the whatever you call them, the 270s of the world and the 315s of the world. So that's the balance that I would think we're talking about getting from our history lessons. Not someone was evil in doing it, although there is ample evidence that they absolutely knew what they were doing. There is.
Okay, but you have to
it's-
tell both sides.
You have to tell both sides.
All right. Let's get to our final topic. After 2 straight weekends of gun violence in the Short North, the mayor is imposing a partial and voluntary curfew on the neighborhood. Last week, someone shot and killed a 21-year-old man in the Short North. The week before, a shootout left 10 people wounded. To try to prevent more violence, Columbus Mayor Andrew Ginther has asked neighborhood businesses to voluntarily close early at midnight on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. While it's still a recommendation, Ginther says he thinks businesses are going to do the right thing.
This is what's in the community interest, the common good. And if they don't, they will have the full and undivided attention of city, county, state law enforcement to make sure that everyone is doing their part to keep safe.
Bob Clegg,
Yes, Mike.
shades of COVID, the racial justice
yeah.
curfews.
Yeah, okay.
What do you make? Is shutting the businesses down, is that going to help this problem?
Okay, Mike, I got 3 words for the mayor, okay? Do your job, okay? He should be doing his job. Don't put this, are these crimes occurring because people are leaving these bars in the Short North and committing crimes? That's not happening, okay? All right. 2 months ago, they just changed the end time for food trucks from 3 a.m. to 2 a.m., which was supposedly to keep people off the street, make things safer. What happened in that 2 months? Things got worse, okay? Didn't get better. He talks about this is the right thing to do. Why? Why is it the right thing to do?
I know why. It's because the longer the evening progresses, the more drinking there is. And let's not forget that the incidents that brought this about have to do with gunplay. And if the city, and you saw Zach Klein standing behind the mayor, who I think is doing his job, and he's not making this mandatory, if we're prohibited from trying to control the gunplay in any other way, then we're going to do it any way that we can. And by the way, I'm not sure that all businesses are going to go along with it,
No,
but I
some
think
are
the
not.
majority. I think that the majority will.
I don't get why they're using the word voluntary here, because we could go back to the wording they used. If you do not voluntarily do this, then the full measure of the blah 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 blah. That's not voluntary. That's a threat, for one thing. I agree with Bob. The problem is not people coming out of the bars. That they're not the ones with the guns shooting people up. So it's not. I don't see how that shutting down the bars is going to make a difference.
But I do think that, this goes to the point that I think Joe is making, that, Ohio cities have a lot of restrictions on what they're able to do in terms of limiting guns legally. So, they're trying to take creative measures to try to get the community involved in solving this problem.
Real quick, Joe, 2 shootings in the Short North. You look on the crime map, there are a lot more in Franklinton, a lot more Driving Park. Why no curfews there?
Yeah, and there might have to be. And I was thinking about this just a few minutes ago. The one measure that actually worked was one that was instituted in New York in the 90s. And that was where every day they would find out where there might be hot spots and then send the police there, rather than punishing the business owners.
All right, let's get to our off-the-record final parting shots. And Joe Mas, you're up first.
What else am I going to say other than to celebrate the career of Ann Fisher? And I've been privileged to be at 2 of her last appearances on Columbus on the Records consecutively. And Ann, you're a treasure to the community. Thank you so much. I want to know, where else am I going to learn about the night skies, spiders, and hemorrhoids? God bless you. We'll
Bob
miss
Clegg.
you.
I've known Ann for almost 35 years, a long time. She started writing at the State House for my hometown newspaper, the Toledo Blade. And one thing about Ann, she would always call me, ask whether she was writing for the Blade, the Columbus Dispatch, or even your radio show. She'd bring me on. She always let me give my side. And I know my people criticize the media all the time, but a reporter like this, good reporter, she lets you say your piece.
Julie?
Well, with that, I mean, I have to just say that, it's been a privilege working with you, and, especially being on the spot, live, and, being able to toss back and forth ideas with you, and all the luck to you.
Yeah. Does this mean I don't have to say anything? No, thank you.
You got 30 seconds.
I have known Bob he's like one of the very first people I ever met at the State House. So yeah, and I remember when you first came to the State House. I've known you for 100 years, it feels like. My favorite thing is, like I say, I talk about politics like I do sport, like
20
other people
seconds
talk
in.
about sports. It's been a privilege to be with you guys for all these years and weeks, and with you too, Mike.
Yes. Farewell, Ann. We've got a week left, though, on the radio. That is Columbus on the Record for this week. Check us out online at WOSU.org. For our crew and our panel, I'm Mike Thompson. Have a good week.